Rab explains it all. Math, chem, physics never fall. Subscribe and learn. Ace every test, so Rab explains it best.
Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to this video and welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to talk about the concept of density. We are going to get familiar with its definition, formula and its units, and we are going to learn how to convert these units to each other. In this video we are not going to solve examples of calculating density. Of course we are gonna have another video for that concept. Okay, without wasting any more time, let's jump into today's lesson. Before presenting the definition of density, I prefer to tell you an example. Assume that we have same volume of iron and feathers. Of course, one of them is going to be heavy, the other one is going to be light. In this case, iron is the heavy one and feathers is the light one. Okay, what is the reason? We have same volume of both of them. Why do we have more mass of iron? The reason returns to the parameter which we call it density. In this case, iron has higher density. If I want to present a definition of density, I can say it is a relationship between the mass of the substance and how much space it takes up. And if I want to give you a formula according to this definition, the formula is going to be rho, which represents density, is equal to m, which is representing mass, over v, which is representing volume. In this formula, m is going to be in kilogram, and gram and volume can be based on cubic meter and cubic centimeter. If I have mass based on kilogram and volume based on cubic meter, the unit of rho or density is gonna be kilogram per cubic meter, because as you can see, those two terms are dividing by each other. And if I have mass in gram and volume in cubic centimeter, the unit of rho, which is a Greek letter and it looks like P, is gonna be gram per cubic centimeter. Okay, when we reach to this point, sometimes the students ask me, is it possible to indicate rho or density based on, I do not know, kilogram per liter or gram per cubic meter? Is it gonna be wrong? For answering that question, I would say no, it's not gonna be wrong, but it is not common. It is somehow on the same lines as indicating a person's height in kilometers. Is it wrong? No, it's not wrong. It is not common. So these are the units, kilogram per cubic meter and gram per cubic centimeter, that we use for indicating the value of density or rho. As I told you before, we have two units for density, and here we are going to learn how to convert them to each other. If I have density based on gram per cubic centimeter and I want to convert it to kilogram per meter, kilogram per cubic meter, the only thing that I need to do is multiplying by 1000. And if I want to do the vice versa, it means I have density based on kilogram per cubic meter and I want to convert it to gram per cubic centimeter. The only thing that I need to do is dividing by 1000. Okay, let's solve some examples with each other. The first example that I have is 1 gram per cubic centimeter and I want to convert it to kilogram per cubic meter. This is the density of water. As I told you, when we have gram per cubic centimeter and we want to convert it to kilogram per cubic meter, the only thing that I need to do is multiplying by 1000. So here the answer is going to be 1000. And for the next example, I have the same scenario. So the only thing that I need to do is multiplying by 1000 again. In this case, the answer is going to be 2700. Look at the third example. It is reverse. I have 2500 kilogram per cubic meter and I want to convert it to gram per cubic centimeter. The only thing that I need to do here is dividing by 1000. So the answer is going to be 2.5. And look at the last example. Here I have kilogram per cubic meter and I want to convert it to gram per cubic centimeter. The only thing that I need to do is dividing by 1000, and the answer is gonna be 13.6, which is the density of mercury. There is an important point here, and I expect you to keep it in your mind. What is that important point? Density acts as a fingerprint. What does it mean? It means each pure material has its own unique density, and we can use these characteristics for specifying what type of pure material do we have. Assume that we have unknown material. We can easily measure the volume of that object and measure the mass of that object, and by dividing these two terms we can easily find the density. Assume that in this case the density is equal to 2.7 gram per cubic centimeters. Okay, I'm gonna compare these values with the known densities that I have. If I do that, I would realize that this object has same density with aluminum, and because this characteristic is a fingerprint and each pure material has its own unique density, I would realize that this unknown material is aluminum because it has same density as aluminum. The last thing that we are going to talk about that in this video is measuring density. Before talking about this part, let me write the formula of density one more time. Rho, which shows density, is equal to m, which is mass, over v volume. So for calculating, for measuring density, I need to find the mass and volume. Finding the mass is the easy part. The only thing that I need to do is putting the object on a balance and then read the mass of that object. But when it comes to volume, it can be a little bit complicated. I can divide measuring volume into two main groups. The first group is regular shape. If I have a regular shape, I'm gonna use a measuring tool such as a ruler to find its dimension. Then according to the shape of object that I have, I'm gonna use a formula for calculating the volume. You can see some examples of regular shapes here, and I'm gonna find the volume easily. I'm not gonna talk about the formula of calculating the volume because I have already taught you, and I'm gonna put the link of that video in the description. But if I have irregular shape, I'm gonna use a method which we call it water displacement, because in this case I cannot use a formula. What does it say, water displacement method? I'm gonna use a measuring cylinder which contains water. I'm gonna drop the irregular shape carefully into the water. The level of water is going to increase, and the amount of increase shows the volume of irregular shape. I'm not gonna talk about calculating the volume of irregular shape more because I have already taught you, and I'm gonna put the link of that video in the description as well. Here you can find more examples, and I strongly suggest you to solve them at home. If you have any question or if you wanted to share your answer, please feel free and write it in the comment box. I will try to answer them as soon as it was possible for me. Thank you for watching this video.